Hi, today I'm with Cheryl, who did my group, and I'd like to introduce you to everyone. Cheryl, where are you from?
Hi, everyone. I'm from New Hyde Park.
Okay, and
Hyde
how
Park
long?
now.
And who did you lose?
I lost my partner, Jimmy.
And how long were you and Jimmy together?
We were together for 10 years, but we knew each other for prior to that, but we reconnected.
Oh, nice. And did you and Jimmy have any children?
We didn't have any children together.
Okay, and what group did you come into? Like what year, and what group were you in?
It was so the first group I joined, it was right after he passed, and it was probably, I guess, September of 2020,
Okay.
maybe a
So
little bit later.
my question for you was it before 3 months, which is the rule on Long Island? You can't get into a group before 3 months?
That's right. It was definitely before 3 months. As a matter of fact, I Googled, an uncle of mine had given me a recommendation about, he lives out in Arizona and he happened to mention a name similar to our group. I Googled and your picture came up and I was attracted. Something brought me to you. I just right away that you were the first number that I dialed. I spoke with you and I remember I had a doctor's appointment that evening. And I said, would it be okay if I started next week? And you said, no, that wouldn't be possible. I said, okay, I'll change my appointment. And I started that first day.
Well, the reason why I said that is because bonding with everyone is important. And when everyone's introducing themselves, I didn't want you to miss that. Although sometimes people have no choice and they can't make the first night, and we're like, okay. And some people come in the middle of a group, and I'm like, it's okay as long as they're in. But that first night is so important because we really get to be introduced to everyone that we're speaking in front of. And you're so vulnerable when you're in a group. You want to know who's in the room with you.
Yeah.
So now, is your group in person or is it online?
So my group was online on Zoom. And
And
then,
that's
so
interesting.
I joined that first group and then because it was because of the timing, I ended up joining the second group then that I really was able to benefit from the entire 8 sessions. And that was, I guess that was the January 2021.
Okay. And the first group, if I recall, I put you in so you would not be without a group.
That's correct. You didn't want me to be without a group and have to
Mhm.
wait that period of time
It
because
was the holidays.
that's right.
I didn't want you to go through the holidays without a group. And
Thankfully, yes.
yeah, and then the second group I put you in was more apropos for your situation because that was the group with no children,
That's right.
right? So, and so all of you were in there with no children. So there's a common connection right there that you will have. How did you find our groups?
So I just Googled, I think I Googled something about widow because my uncle had mentioned that name. And like I was saying, that as soon as I put it in,
Oh,
a
right.
popped up, but and then I saw the video that you made and I
Mm.
listened to it and I just felt very connected. I don't know, for some reason. And as soon as I spoke to you, you convinced me when I just said, yeah, I need this. I definitely need this.
That's great. Did you go to, for the second group, did you make every night meeting? Were you able to make
Yes,
the 8 weeks? That's
I do.
great. Do you still meet?
We do. My facilitator asked me to become captain of the team. And so I'm hosting the sessions and we've been meeting every single week. And we actually have a lot of people that show up and we're staying connected and an amazing group of people, individuals, a lot of personality in our group. So there's something for everyone.
That's great. But it's great that, so now a lot of people call me and they'll say, oh, your groups are virtually. Oh, I need to meet in person. And they won't even give the virtual group a chance. So here you are, you all met online and you all seem to be bonding okay.
We
Did you,
even have people who are out of state, and it's wonderful because if it had been necessary to meet in person, it's very far from me, for example. I would not have been able to make it probably. Many
Mhm.
people, we're having people out of state in other boroughs. It's wonderful. It's amazing.
It's amazing how you could connect. So you guys have not met in person.
Not yet.
Oh, that's pretty
I met
interesting.
one person from the other group. to go to the function that we had.
Mhm. And what has the group done for you?
Oh, wow. A lot. So I generally prefer to connect to smaller groups of people one-on-one and have very strong relationships and smaller groups. I'm okay in larger groups, but it's really pushed me out of my comfort zone, allowed me to meet a diverse set of people. Um, and you've taught me so much. I mean, going through this process, the whole entire process about giving, not taking things so personally, things that might trigger you. You've been pushing me a lot. I don't know if you realize that or not, but you really have. I hear your voice inside my head often. And so I feel like that was supposed to happen, and really just trying to give different new experiences more of a chance, and people. And you've said this over and over, that people who are grieving are angry and upset, and it's easy to get triggered and upset over various things. And I'm just trying to take people for who they are. And you set such an amazing example, all the love that you give to everyone, and regardless of how they come to you in anger, in pain, in suffering. And you're an amazing teacher. And I'm just trying to, if I could have just a portion of that, to try to share with people at a time when everybody is so, I mean, in these times anyway, it's so difficult, on top of what would a normal person grieving, what it would look like, added to the pandemic. It's just really a difficult time. People
Oh,
are really in
yes.
pain.
I call this the year of crisis because it is difficult. Your grief has the isolation aspect compounded on top of it, where we can't do all the normal things. And people who haven't had a loss are grieving. They're grieving going to a restaurant, going shopping, being with family, being with friends. So others are grieving. When they're in their grief world, sometimes it's hard to be there for someone who really has a loss, like you and many of the others in our group.
You
So
hear that over and over again. It's so hard. And that the group brings that, because I think the level of understanding, I think one of the largest lessons I learned, even people who want to be there for you, maybe either they can't or they don't know how. But the one thing that I know for sure is, in this case, I really do believe you have to be a chicken to know what an egg is. I mean, I think that people just don't get it. And I know they don't get it. I've learned it over and over again, myself and others, the stories that you just keep hearing. I mean, it's boundless, but they might want to get it, but they don't. And so having people in the group
right,
who get it, it's just so easy. I have conversations with people and they feel such a relief. I mean, just like, wow, it's so great that somebody gets it. You don't have to keep spelling it out. You don't have to explain.
right. There's no explaining why when you wake up you feel the way you do, or why something triggered you, or why after a certain amount of time you're not over it. That's another, why aren't you over it? It's just so long. You're still talking about that person. Like, people who are in this get it, and they understand that we're never going to stop speaking about them, because when we stop speaking about them, then they're no longer here. And we always
Yep.
want to keep them alive. So, in conclusion of everything about the group and everything that you did, we try to give tools to people each week, something like a takeaway. What was a takeaway for you?
There were so many, and so many gifts and little pearls. And I'm sure that various things resonate differently for different people. I think that I have to say one of the most profound experiences I had was with you. And so the tool would be asking for help. And I am not very good at that. I'm usually the helper, and I'm not very
Mhm.
good at asking for it. And I remember you and I had a conversation, and I said, people think, everybody tells me like, you're doing great, you're doing good. And you said, I'm sure people are telling you you're doing great, you're doing good, but you're not. And that just like a lightning bulb went off inside of me, because you were the first and only person who said that to me.
Well, I think too that a lot of people see men that shave and that are groomed, and us as women, we have our makeup on and our hair is done, and we're hurting inside. We're just grooming because this is what we're accustomed to doing, but that doesn't mean that we're not in great pain. And so there's no outside symbol saying, I'm grieving, I'm in pain. We hold it all inside. And so people don't know what we're feeling. Years ago, women used to wear black. If you look in the movie, It's a Wonderful Life, Jimmy Stewart has the black band around his arm saying, I'm grieving. We don't have anything that says we're grieving, we're hurting, we miss someone that, we lost. So if we don't tell people, it's still really hard for me, I'm hurting, even though I look like I got it together, I don't. Then they're
And
not
it's
going to
like you
know.
said, after a period of time, though, people just kind of expect, like, the famous line, "Are you okay now?" I mean, I
Yeah,
actually said one day, well, as soon as he walks back in the door, I'll be fine. And they
right.
looked at me like, and I was like, what does that mean?
I had a nurse say that to me after we lost our son Brett. She said, "Are you doing better now?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I can't even believe that you would ask me that question."
You don't know how
Like,
to respond. Like, you don't want to be
right.
that person, right?
No, there's a nice way to tell people. I always believe there's a nice way to say to someone, that's not, that doesn't sound right to me. What do you mean by better? Did I get over the fact that he died? What does better mean? You
Exactly.
know? So it's just not a good word to say to someone who's grieving. Not a
And
month after their loss. Maybe 6 years later you could say it, but not a month after their loss. It's not nice to say those kind of things to people. We have to be careful how we speak to others, that are in pain, because we are sensitive, and those of us that are in the pain have to also be sensitive to those who don't understand, and that they're not doing it to attack us or hurt us. They're doing it out of ignorance. And maybe if we
just
have
don't get it.
more, yeah, maybe if we have more videos like this, maybe more people will get it. And, that's the bottom line. Like, exposing it is the way everybody learns, is by exposing
Exactly.
things, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Cheryl, for your time today. I so
Thank you so much,
appreciate
Catherine, for
you.
everything you do.
Thank you.